My name is Jasselle Serino. I was lost before I found you. I had just purchased this house back in June, which seems like not that long ago. But there was an overwhelming amount of work to be done in the house. And I felt like I had a clear vision of what I wanted and felt crippled in how to actually execute it. So seeking you, actually, I didn't seek you out until you had posted in a group on Facebook about having a free resource for kitchen designs. And I opted into receiving it. And you were so nice and not pushy about doing a discovery call. And I'm so glad that I just did the 15-minute call because in it, I knew right away this is what I needed to get unstuck. And I've appreciated you cherishing my home and really understanding that it's not just aesthetic, although that is a large part of it.
Yeah.
It was functionality, like how can the design incorporate like how you live every day so that it works for not just myself, but my family. And so that's been really important in the everyday work we've been doing. And it feels like a partnership. It's something that, like you said, we do get to collaborate on. And you are so wonderful with communication that
Oh, thank you.
no, really, I don't know if I could have gotten through this without having someone there to constantly like throw ideas back and forth with, because I am such a visual person and it's hard for me to just visualize something in my home so abstractly. And so you bring it to life in ways that I couldn't have imagined.
Where were you at with your project before you came to work with us? Like, was it just thinking of ideas and I know you knew that you needed some renovation work done and some, obviously to get furnishings and stuff for your new home, but were you doing anything before you started with us?
I was planning and stressing. So when I walked into this house, it was definitely a fixer-upper, very much 90s and 60s everywhere, wallpaper covering every inch of our walls.
Yes, yes.
And so the only work that was being done was outside in the pool because that was priority in the summer. And because I felt like so overwhelmed by the amount of projects inside of the house, I was just creating Pinterest boards and Google slide decks of
Right.
my inspiration and what I wanted and thought it could look like. I felt the house had a lot of charm, but it was definitely stuck back in the 60s, and I wanted to modernize it but still have a lot of vintage appeal that was true to like the traditional style of the home.
What kind of challenges or problems were you facing before starting, and how did we help you with that?
So I wanted a very high-end looking home on a Target budget, and I wanted to be able to make the house feel light and bright because it was very, very dark and gloomy. And so to live in that while I was, doing renovations and while you were designing a room at a time was very challenging in itself. But I think starting with the sun, we made our way around the house, ending with the kitchen. And so starting in the sunroom and making sure there was like a really bright and feel good area that transformed, helped to make us make each space livable until we got here. Furniture. I mean, it's been a supply chain nightmare ever since the pandemic started. And so being able to have flexibility with you and say, this went out of stock. Is there something else that we could look into? You were amazing at being able to find things that still fit the style and budget. And that was key. So I think that if I had been doing this way before I was ready for renovations, then I wouldn't have had that on-call support to be able to make replacements in the way that we were able to just be flexible. So you added an element of flexibility that I wouldn't have anticipated, because I never thought I would even be able to have a designer, afford a designer. But what I loved in, early on was you were upfront about pricing and how we could make it work for the project. And that has allowed me to add rooms on as we've gone on, which I'm so appreciative for, because it was able to work within our budget over time and really bring a sense of home one room at a time to our house.
So I think it's safe to say you've enjoyed your experience working with us so far.
Yes, that's an understatement. I have told many a person, including my mother, that I don't know how I could design a space. I've been a little spoiled, so I feel like I've told you already, like my master bedroom, the bathrooms, conquering the upstairs. You're never getting rid of me. I
That's
have
okay.
found such value
Okay.
in, like having a vision is one thing. And like I said, executing it is another. But what you do is even if I came in here with a blank slate, you would have pulled a vision out of me. You have a really great ability to be able to do that and then make it even better than what I thought. And so I went back recently to my inspiration slide deck just to see
Right.
how. Yes, and I was like, wow, my home looks better than what my inspiration was. I would have never thought my kitchen could look like this.
Oh, that's so nice to hear, actually. Thank you. That's good.
Yes. And so I don't think I would have been able to, I wouldn't have even known what to do if I couldn't have sent you videos along along the journey to see if things were right. Sometimes I didn't actually know, because it's not my field of expertise, until you pointed something out and really guiding me to be able to talk with all the different people involved in the project so that it could align to the vision. And having everything 3D rendered. I mean, your husband was amazing, and being able to visually bring everything to life that I wanted in this space and that you designed for this space. So having that to continually refer back to was really key in making sure the process was smoother than what it could have been a disaster. And so having you by my side and having the 3D rendering to continually look back and refer to was critical to getting this executed.
Yeah, I think that it really helps, not just to plan the design and all that stuff, but builders and contractors, it's really helpful. Like a picture's 1,000 words, right? It's just, you could see it instead of, some kind of verbal miscommunication or something, in email or something like that, that it's the visual is good. So yeah, well, that's good. That's good to hear.
I also like, and I don't know if this is a thing that you would love, but what it gave me when I talked to all of these different construction workers was to be able to say, well, the designer said this. And so it made me feel like I had a barrier. Like I was just the mediator, the go-between, so that any frustration they had didn't come back to me.
All on you, yeah.
Yes. So it made it a lot easier to communicate what the vision was without saying like, this isn't what I want or expect. It's like, well, it's not what is in the dimensions or the 3D rendering. And so being able to have something very concrete to fall back to was really critical.
What do you think has been your biggest aha moment since working with us along the way?
I don't know if it was the biggest aha moment, but it was my first aha moment where we were looking for furniture in the family room and we couldn't decide on an accent chair. And I had sent you a few of them like that I was entertaining, and you instantly put them into a mood board, and it made the decision so clear. We were like, oh wait, this is the chair and now we need to hunt it down. It was exactly what I thought. I never would have thought I needed that. or that I could have that. When you get to see it in comparison, like in the actual room with different snapshots, it just made decision making so much easier.
What kind of results have you seen implementing the thinking and strategies since working with us? So just anything you could think of.
So I feel like I think like a designer now. It's like a new skill set I have.
That's good.
So I always think through, what I love is that you didn't change my sense of design. Like I said, you had refined it. But now I just think okay, well, I have too many square shaped things in this space. And so I need to bring in some more circular shaped things. And so it's just in listening to the way that you explain choices and options makes me go, oh, okay. I thought that this would have been a really good option, but now I see why this one would be better. So I'm constantly doing that. And another thing was over accessorizing. You had to tell me to slow down. I just wanted to accessorize everything and do everything all at once. But with you saying to have the major pieces in the space first, that was probably another big aha moment in seeing how the room starts to take shape once you put these big pieces in, so that it makes it easier to find the little accent pieces to make
Definitely.
it, the full look.
How has this changed the way you look at your, interior design or renovation projects going forward?
Well, I think of all the things I need you to do. So I look at the outside of my home and it's like, I want my outside of the house to look as good as the inside. And so I'm like, at some point, I have a Jamie timeline for when I'm going to have different things in my home done and when I'm going to call you again. Because like I said, this has been truly and just a genuine value, right? Like I underestimated what the role of a designer would be and could be. I didn't even think that I would be able to have one for my home. But just the ability to have a vision come to life better than I imagined. I couldn't even put a price tag on it. And my husband, he does not like any kind of design. Like he's not the person to collaborate with and go back and forth with. And so he has such an appreciation for you.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yeah. So when it came to like telling you like what I will give you reviews up mountains, across the valleys.
You're gonna make me blush.
I have.
Thank you.
But I truly value what you bring to the design and how you just know the right thing that a space needs. It's like intuitive. And so I value what that has brought to my home. I love my home. All week I've woken up and I've told my husband, he's probably sick of hearing it, but I was like, I love this kitchen. I just love it. I just look at it.
Oh, that's so good.
You.
I can't thank you enough for all your kind words. It's been amazing working with you so far, and I do look forward to tackling the rest of the house with you.
I mean, you have done 1, 2, 3, like 5 spaces.
Yeah.
And you've done the entire downstairs.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I would love to, see the before and afters. I haven't really done that side by side to just really show the transformation in this home. You brought it from like a fixer upper to a home I'm so proud of, and I want to show people. So thank you.
Oh, well, that's the mission that we strive to do. So thank you. Thank you so much. Well, I think that's it. And I really do. I look forward to hearing from you again. We'll go through all your lighting choices.
You will.
Okay. Okay. Take care, Jasselle. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you.